Hello again, it's Noob, and today we get to look at some really fun things. I think it's going to be quite a short review video. I was on AliExpress recently, not a sponsor, and I saw a couple of items that I've wanted to explore for a while, and I thought I'd share them with you here. Needless to say, please shop around. I may leave links below to where I bought these, but I would encourage you to search for better prices if you can from elsewhere if you like. Like I said, not a sponsored video. I bought this with my own money, so all thoughts are my own as always. Right, so what do I have? Well, the first thing I've wanted for a while and just never got around to buying is one of these. It's a little fibre optic torch. It probably has a special name, but that's what it is. So this is just a normal sort of torch with quite a bright beam. It takes a AAA battery. Sorry about the squeaking there. It's a bit squeaky, isn't it? There we go, take that off. You see that the AAA battery just slides in there. It doesn't come with a battery. I put one in on my own. And it just operates with a little click. Like I said, it's quite bright. What it also comes with, and probably the reason why I think one of these is quite useful, is these little fibre optic tips of different thicknesses. Obviously, the bigger the tip, the brighter the light, but depending on the keyway that you're going to explore with these lights, you may have to sacrifice a little bit of brightness for the ability to actually put this probe down the keyway. You would take one of these. I'll take the medium one for now. You would pop that in the tip, and this is awkward to get out. It's in a little cutaway in the case, but and that would slide in, and then you just screw all of this down onto the torch like this and press, and you see that you get that little bead of light. It's probably showing up quite well on the camera there. Why is this useful? Well, there's a few locks that I've had recently in particular where it's been quite useful to explore down the keyway. Let me show you one. So here is a ZI Econ lock, and you might be able to see some little wings or wing-like bits that come out of the side of the key. Now that had me thinking, are there pins so on 3 axes? So what I did is I got this little torch, and I put that down the keyway, and you won't probably be able to see it very well on camera, admittedly, but you might just be able to see just there that we can see a pin down in the keyway. I don't think there was one this side, but they would be passive key control pins, not active pins. In fact, I picked this recently in an upcoming video, and I can tell you for sure that there is no active pins in the sides, but it is quite good to have a look down the keyway, have a look at the warding. Why do these exist? Well, it is sort of for this, but it's more for locksmiths to look down the keyways, usually cars, to see if there's broken keys, damaged wafers, those kind of things. If there are locksmiths in the comments, I'm sure you will correct me. So that is relatively bright. If I put the shorter one on, you can hot swap. It's only little rubber gaskets there. You can hot swap these. In fact, you can see it's quite interesting how that will light up as you get closer with the torch. That just slides on. And again, that's really useful. Why is it useful? Well, if you have something with a tighter keyway, here is a DOM with an actual side bitting here. It's an RS8 if you're interested. And this warding is very tight. And this is actually a cut lock, so I can slide this down and I can actually see the torch light through the back of the lock, and that's actually very, very useful if you have a cut euro. You can of course go in through the front, but if you are a lock picker, you often have a load of snapped or cut euros, and this is quite good for having a look down the keyway and seeing what's going on inside. More useful of course when you can't actually disassemble the lock at all, like a padlock like this. Let me now swap out to the larger size, and you should see that this is even brighter because it just lets more light through. I think that comes across, doesn't it? I can do a little hot swap between that is the thin one and that's the thick one. I think it's quite noticeable how bright that one is compared. When you have a keyway like this, it can be quite useful to see what type of lock this is. This, and again, this might not come across on camera very well, actually better than I thought. you can see that you have wafers, the tips of the wafers up here and down here at the bottom, and that's where I need to angle my pick or rake if I was going to pick these wafers. You can literally see down here and up here that we have places to pick top and bottom. This is actually in stark contrast with a lot of other car locks, like this cutaway one, which we'll come on to very briefly in a minute. In that, if you look down into this one, you can see that there are tabs. This is actually very bright. It's much better when you're looking down the keyway in person. On camera, this actually comes across as a bit glaring, but you can see that there are little tabs on the center of the wafers, which means you'd have to pick from the side. So just being able to see down the inside of the lock will determine, well, allow you to determine what kind of lock and where you it is and where you'd want to pick it. If it wasn't totally clear on camera just then, this see-through lock is very similar in some ways to this slider lock, where you can see tabs not at the top or the bottom but at the side. This one actually has tabs which need to be pushed up and tabs which need to be pushed down, and with this torch I can go in and actually see where each tab is positioned, either more towards the top on the side or the bottom on the side, and that will determine whether that needs to be picked up or picked down. And by observing the locks in this way, we can better understand how we might approach picking them. This torch does come with a little bag with extra washers and seals in it, which I appreciate, didn't need to. And although there are many similar torches online, I chose this because this is made by HUK, who is a brand I have used in the past, and I think some of their equipment is actually not too bad. So I chose this one because it was a recognised name. In fact, I would say that the HUK lock disassembly kit is an absolute mandatory must buy for all new pickers. But that's an aside. I'll probably leave a link to one of my review videos on that kit if I remember. Just to close out my thoughts on this, this was around the 18 UK pounds mark. I'm sure if I'd searched I could have probably found it cheaper. It seems to be relatively well made and well put together. It definitely works as I would want it to. Of course, if you wanted to get really expensive, you can get like fibre optic torch camera things, which are hundreds of pounds, and they are amazing, of course. But for a very reasonably priced piece of kit that allows me to inspect some locks in a way which I would otherwise not be able to. I can also get a magnifying glass out if I need to do that as well. I actually think this isn't too bad. I did notice that it gets warm, not hot, warm if you leave it on for a few minutes. It seems to be a very bright torch. I think that won't hurt your eyes, will it? It's going to be on a phone, so it's only as bright as your phone gets. But it is surprisingly bright for an LED torch, and it does get quite warm. So I wouldn't leave it on for long periods of time. But yeah, not too bad. I think that, you know, you might want to shop around, maybe not even stick to this brand, but as a lockpicker who explores lots of different locks, definitely maybe worth getting one of these for your kit at some point. Although certainly I wouldn't say that this is essential, but I'm glad I've got one. And to finish this video off, I just wanted to show off this other thing that I bought online that wasn't particularly deserving of its own video, and that is this Automotive slider wafer lock. And it's clearly clear. It's a transparent demonstration or practice lock. I would warn against using this to practice picking, because you've got these metal wafers against the plastic here, and as you put tension on this with your tension tool, and I've got an Automotive tension tool here, you will bind those wafers up against the plastic and that will wear down eventually. You might see already some little faint lines on the quite clear, I have to say very clear, acrylic, I think, where just turning this lock has caused a little bit of grooves to occur. That is completely to be expected. This is more of a visual aid than it is something which you would use for picking practice, just like all clear plastic practice locks. That's too many words. I really just wanted one of these for myself for demonstration purposes. It was about £10 online, and I didn't have an Automotive lock with this sort of wafer slider configuration, and I just thought it would be very useful, or will come useful at some point in the future. It might not, but for £10, I think the quality is there if you are interested in this kind of thing. Would I recommend that most lockpickers get one of these? No, I just don't think that there'd be any use for one for most people. I don't think it's a particularly good practice aid for picking. It's more of a demonstration aid to show how one of these locks actually works, and I think therefore the use cases for this are somewhat limited. But for £10, you might think it's worth it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. So there you go. I'm pretty pleased with my purchases. In particular, this torch. I think I will use this quite a lot when I'm exploring a new lock, especially one without a key or one with a complex key or keyway. Definitely having a look down the keyway first is always very useful. This I don't think I'm going to use very often, but I am glad I got it, and the quality I think is actually relatively good for what you get. I just don't think many lockpickers would have a use for one of these. As I said, drop any comments below if you have any. I'd really like to know your thoughts. Locksmiths, do you use something like this? What do you use them for? I am kind of curious. I know what I use this for, but you probably have a much better use case for one of these than I do. Let me know if you actually disagree with me and you think this is actually something which more lockpickers should have. Let me know in the comments. If you do like these, then I would definitely suggest, as I said earlier in the video, shopping around. You probably get a much better bargain than I did. I was just lazy in my shopping, and I bought them somewhere where I'd bought other stuff before, but you don't have to. If you like this video, please leave me a like. If you haven't subscribed and want to see more reviews like this, then hit that subscribe button. Really helps my channel out. And otherwise, just stay safe, happy picking, and I'll see you all next time.